Like I said, our first order of business, I want to talk about this apology video from Kevin Roberts. First, we'll watch it. I get my headphones on and I'll play it for you. We'll watch the whole thing and I'll set it up for you first. Just for people that are tuning in, maybe people that don't know the whole story. I do my interview with Tucker Carlson. I'm sure you're familiar with this by now. Jewish lobby is furious. They say, how could you let this Hitler Stalin apologist? I like that now it's, for years I was a Hitler admirer. Now I'm a Hitler and Stalin apologist. There was a journalist from National Review. She runs up to Mike Johnson in the Capitol Rotunda. She goes, Speaker Johnson, any comment on Tucker Carlson interviewing Hitler and Stalin apologist Nick Fuentes? Hitler and Stalin apologist. Why don't you throw in like Julius Caesar and like Alexander the Great? What do you think about Napoleon and Oliver Cromwell apologist Nick Fuentes, the neo-roundhead, the neo-Huguenot? This stuff is ancient history. Anyway, but so the Jewish lobby is furious about the interview. And the Heritage Foundation president, Kevin Roberts, does this infamous video last week defending Tucker. And he says that, of course, we're not going to cancel Tucker. Tucker is popular and we like Tucker and we know Tucker. And he says there's a venomous coalition trying to destroy him. He says we're America first, we're Christ first, we support free speech, we're against cancel culture. None of this should be controversial. But what has followed since the video is this angry mob made up of basically the Jewish lobby. It's Mark Levin, it's Ben Shapiro, it's Randy Fine, it's the Republican Jewish Coalition, it's the National Task Force for Combating Anti-Semitism. They have a big problem with the statement, and so they lean on the Heritage Foundation. They're leaking all their internal communications. Board members and staffers are resigning. Their alumni are criticizing the organization on Twitter. Everybody's in open revolt. They're threatening to pull the money. Like I said, the leaks are going out everywhere. Very embarrassing. Their OPSEC is totally compromised. And so after this 5-day high-pressure campaign from the Israel First crowd, finally the president of Heritage apologized for the video. And I'm going to play for you the apology right now. I'll pull it up, we'll watch it in its entirety, and you tell me what you think. We'll analyze it. So this is Kevin Roberts, head of the Heritage Foundation. He writes, leadership requires owning the moments where we fall short, then using them to reset, refocus, recommit. Who is this for?
Fuck me.
Who is reading this? Like, which normal people, which actual Americans, not weird Jews that run the conservative movement, which actual real human beings are reading this and saying, all right, refocus, recommit. Shut up. Here is what we are focused on moving forward. Join us. Let's go win. Now that we've all apologized for anti-Semitism, let's go win. Yeah, okay. Who's signing up for that? All right, here's the apology.
I want to speak plainly, both as president of the Heritage Foundation and also as an American who understands the urgency of this moment. Leadership requires owning the moments where we fall short, then using them to reset, refocus, and recommit. I talked about this today, as you may have seen, during our Heritage All-Staff Town Hall. I'm so grateful for my amazing colleagues. My use of the phrase venomous coalition was a terrible choice of words. It caused justified concern, especially among friends and allies who know how seriously Heritage has fought and continues to fight against the rise of anti-Semitism. Everyone has the responsibility to speak up against the scourge of anti-Semitism, no matter the messenger. Heritage and I will do so, even when my friend Tucker Carlson needs challenging.
He needs challenging.
As do you, the work ahead is too important. Our conservative movement must be willing to wrestle with hard conversations, not avoid them. Last night's election results demonstrate this. The need of this moment is clear. We must articulate a bold, positive vision that convinces Americans that conservative policies will revitalize the American dream.
Yeah.
The left isn't slowing down. If we want to win, truly win, we must grow stronger in every way. Here is what we are focused on moving forward. Standing for strong families, because no society survives without them. Advocating for the dignity of work and free enterprise, because it's how people build meaning and sustain freedom. Defending national sovereignty, because a country that doesn't protect itself isn't a country. And restoring citizenship as a sacred trust,
I feel like a country
rooted in
right
virtue,
now.
Liberty, and faith. It's not just policy, it's purpose. So to each of you
Wait, was
working-
that written by AI? I didn't even notice that the first time I watched it. Was this written by ChatGPT? Be honest. It's not policy, M dash, it's purpose. Not apologizing, M dash, moving forward. I didn't even notice that the first
Each
time.
of you working the long hours, holding the line, doing the unglamorous tasks that keep this mission moving, I see you. I'm grateful. And I want you to know we're in this together. Movements like ours are not weakened by adversity. We are sharpened by it.
Hey.
Let's take what we've learned. Let's recommit. And by all means, let's go win.
What the
Yeah, right.
fuck?
Yeah, right.
What a
Now, let me
joke.
ask you something. Does anybody, literally anybody, think that the Republican Party, or the country for that matter, needs more of this? Really? This is your message to let's go win? First, an apology about anti-Semitism. I'm sorry for saying venomous coalition. That was anti-Semitic. Everyone must stand up to anti-Semitism. Anyway, families and jobs, I guess. Let's go win. So this is a video, which, by the way, so was Ben Shapiro standing on the other side of the camera with a loaded gun pointed at his head? The only thing that was missing was like a red laser dot sight on his forehead. Poor choice of words. I didn't mean it when I said venomous coalition to come across as an anti-Semitic canard. Let me remind you, by the way, where we are, in case anybody needs to be reminded. 2 months ago, Charlie Kirk got shot in the face, most likely by a leftist. And whether you think there was a conspiracy or whether you believe the official narrative, regardless, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of left-wing Democrats celebrated that. Whoever you think killed him, it almost doesn't even matter for the sake of this argument. Because whether it was Israel or the Mormon Mafia or the government, whoever it was, or Tyler Robinson, hundreds of thousands of leftists celebrated because some polemical activist, a live streamer, got shot in the neck and executed. A 31-year-old father, recently married, head of a college campus organization. They celebrated that he got shot in the neck for no reason, for basically expressing moderate conservative politics. That's where we are. Okay? That's where Americans are. We have 40 million illegals in the country. Half of the country is now non-white, and a good percentage of those people hate us. They hate our ancestors. They hate white people. They want to take our stuff. They think that we are richer than them because of slavery and racism. And so they want to raise our taxes to fund free healthcare, free education, free food, free everything. And as time goes on, they're going to increase their share of the electorate and then therefore increase their share of government power in order to achieve this. To hurt white people, take from white people, and give to themselves. Open up the borders for more immigrants. Open up the borders for more illegals. These are the kinds of people in addition to white leftists, that are celebrating political violence against somebody like Charlie Kirk, who believes the same things that we believe, and actually maybe believes 30% less of what the rest of us believe. Certainly what we believe in the wake of his assassination. That's where we are. And we got there because the mainstream media and on social media, they have been gaslighting half the population into thinking that white people are evil. Trump is Hitler. Trump is a Nazi. The right wing are fascists. The right wing are Nazis. This is where we are in America. Now, let me ask you something. What has been done about any of it? Has Antifa been rounded up? No. Has there been a thorough investigation into Charlie Kirk's death? No. Have any of the people celebrating?
There wasn't a thorough investigation into anything suspicious like 9/11, anything.
Collaborating in the hit job? Have they been held accountable? No. Are there mass deportations? No. In the aftermath of my interview with Tucker Carlson, I have been called a Nazi. I have been called a monster. 2 months ago, the same people that were saying the left killed Charlie by calling him a Nazi, they need to turn down the temperature. They need to soften the rhetoric. The same people that were saying that 2 months ago, today are saying that I'm a Nazi, I'm a monster, I'm the worst person ever. Why? Because I said we're too Israel first. Because I'm an edgelord, because I'm a right-wing edgelord. I've said things about Hitler. Last night, Republicans got destroyed in the election. They lost significant ground in states like Virginia and New Jersey. In New York City, a race communist, a Muslim immigrant democratic socialist who said he's going to tax white neighborhoods to give free services to the rest of the city, he just became mayor of New York City. And the same night that that's happening, we have the head of the most prestigious conservative think tank putting out a message like this. That's the message? It's an apology for anti-Semitic tropes? I'm sorry for my word choice. Venomous coalition is an anti-Semitic trope. We need to challenge Tucker more. Does anybody believe that is the message that America wants or needs right now? Is that good for Republican politics? Is that good for Republican voters? Is that good for any voters? Is that objectively good for anybody? Is that even true? We all know what is going on here. It's obvious. Let's just say it directly and explicitly and openly. The Republican Party, as we all know, has been hijacked for a long time by a tiny but extremely rich and extremely vocal and aggressive and influential group of pro-Israel Jews. Everybody knows that. They use their money, they use their influence, they bully, they intimidate, they are reckless, they are irresponsible. Look at Mark Levin, look at Ben Shapiro. These are not temperate, moderate, sensible people. These are lunatics. They get up on stage and they scream at the top of their lungs, scream and yell about terrorists, Hamas, Islamo-Nazis, Islamo-communists, Hitler and neo-Nazis. They are insane. People like Shabbos Kestenbaum and Bill Ackman, they were Democrats 2 years ago. Now they're in the Republican Party. You know what Shabbos Kestenbaum said in an interview this weekend? He said, we need to put Jews first. That's a quote. He said, Jews need to be Jewish first. He said that in an interview with Israeli media in Israel. He spoke at the Republican National Convention last year. He's suing Harvard for anti-Semitism. He's met the president multiple times. Mark Levin got on stage at the Republican Jewish Coalition this weekend and said that Powerful Jews need to use their resources and their position to punish anyone that criticizes Israel. He said, we're tired of hearing about the West Bank. We're tired of hearing about genocide. We're tired of hearing about AIPAC. He said, we're taking names and we'll make our decisions about 2028. Just who do these people think they are? And we all know what happened to Kevin Roberts. The difference between Kevin Roberts and Tucker Carlson is this. Tucker Carlson doesn't have a boss. He doesn't have stakeholders. He doesn't have board members. He doesn't have donors. He doesn't have employees. He's got a small production staff, and he's entirely independent and self-funded. He's in a cabin up in Maine, which he runs using ad revenue. Tucker Carlson can do and say whatever he wants within reason. Kevin Roberts, on the other hand, running a think tank, is beholden to his donors, to the board members. He's beholden to his own employees. He's beholden to partner organizations like the Coalition or Task Force for Fighting Anti-Semitism. And we all know that when he defended Tucker Carlson, there was a revolt among the stakeholders, among the interested parties, all the aforementioned groups of people that he has to answer to. And they said, if you don't apologize, if you don't delete the video, if you don't condemn Tucker, if you don't hire a Generation Z ambassador to be pro-Israel, if you don't bring all the junior staff members to the Shabbat dinner, then you're finished. They're holding him hostage. They're holding the Heritage Foundation hostage. They're holding the Republican Party hostage because of their outsized institutional influence. As a result, we have a Republican Party that cares far more about Israel. And in particular, it's not just that they care about Israel. They care far more about appeasing and placating and representing a small, aggressive, vocal group of Jews like Mark Levin, like the Republican Jewish Coalition. I know people are afraid of the word, but that's what it is. They are far more concerned with satisfying this special interest group than they are with Americans. And you see that reflected everywhere. Matt Walsh, who works for Ben Shapiro at Daily Wire, says, I don't care about Israel. I care about America. Can we just stop all the drama and focus on domestic concerns? In theory, I agree with that. But let's talk about some of the domestic priorities of this administration. Donald Trump was elected in part because of the Make America Healthy Again initiative. What has Robert Kennedy Jr. done at the Department of Health and Human Services? Have they banned seed oils? Have they banned dyes? Have they named the cause of autism? Have they done anything like that? No. But did you know they declared anti-Semitism a public health emergency within the first 60 days of the Trump administration? That's your Department of Health and Human Services under Secretary RFK Jr. How about the border? Donald Trump was elected to deport 10 million illegals that came in under Joe Biden. It was a promise of mass deportations. That's overseen by the Department of Homeland Security, headed up by Secretary Kristi Noem. Do you know that Kristi Noem is absolutely preoccupied with policing anti-Semitism? I know people that work in the department, and they say that a fixation in Homeland Security is revoking the visas of anybody that criticizes Israel. And that is what the DHS has been doing. They have been working with the State Department to review the social media posts of anybody that wants a visa into the United States. If you want to travel here as a tourist, if you are here on a work visa, if you are here on a student visa, Homeland Security is looking at your visa and they will revoke access or entry into the United States if they find criticism of Israel on your social media accounts. So we've deported 400,000 people in 2025. That's going to be the year-end number. It's nowhere close to 1 million per year. It's nowhere close to where it needs to be, which is 2.5 million per year. But they are combing through millions of visa holders' Twitter and Facebook accounts to see if they criticized Israel. How about the Department of Education, headed up by Secretary Linda McMahon? Are they going after the anti-white curriculum in the schools? Are they going after BLM? No. The Department of Education has seized the grants and the loans of 6 out of 8 Ivy League universities, Harvard and Columbia, and even non-Ivy League universities like MIT. At Northwestern, under pressure from the federal government, you actually have to attend a re-education program teaching you to be pro-Israel to attend Northwestern University in Chicago. That's what the Department of Ed is up to. What about the Department of War? The promise in 2024 was no new wars. We got into 2 new wars this year. We bombed Yemen for a month, and then we bombed Iran for the first time. We dropped bunker buster bombs on Iran's nuclear program, and Trump says we're not done. We're going to go back in. And who was that at the behest of? That was after Trump had lunch with Mark Levin back in June earlier this year. Why do you think Republicans lost? Why do you think Donald Trump has lost 50% of his support among 18 to 29-year-olds since the beginning of the year? It's because the golden age has not materialized for Americans. The golden age has not materialized for young people. Everywhere you look, every way you want to cut it, whether it's the Department of War or the Department of Education, Department of Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, State Department, which is revoking visas and trying to get Israel more land. How about the Department of Justice protecting Jeffrey Epstein, the Mossad spy? Everywhere you look, everywhere you cut it, the MAGA movement is forfeiting. They're giving it up. They're voluntarily losing. They're losing the forgotten men and women of America. They're losing the white people, the Christians, the young people. They're losing the Hispanics that came over in 24 in record numbers. They're losing everybody. They're losing everybody that isn't a psycho lunatic pro-Israel Jew like Mark Levin. Is it worth it? And why is that? We are being held hostage as a nation. We are the United States of America, biggest, wealthiest, most powerful country in the history of the world. Our sons, our brothers, our forefathers die in wars for this empire. We pay our taxes. We work our fingers to the bone for this empire, but it's not for us. Do we get the spoils? Do we get the fruits? No. The fruits and the spoils of all of it goes to a tiny and loud minority of bullies. Because people like Kevin Roberts and people like Donald Trump and people like J.D. Vance and all of them, they are all beholden to this group because they know that if they talk to Nick Fuentes, if they criticize Israel, you'll see the treatment that I got this past week. Look at how they talk about me on Twitter. And we all see what's going on here. Look at the coordinated attack on social media from everywhere, from all sides. Look at all the bad clips he's ever said. He's a Hitler worshiper. He's a Nazi. He's a monster. He's terrible. No one should be his friend. No one should talk to him. We're not stupid. We see what's going on. It's obvious. These are the same smear tactics, the same bullying, intimidation, harassment, the same psycho berserker tactics they've used for years. And everybody is sick of it. And newsflash, it's not working. I'm more popular than ever. Nobody knows who Mark Levin is that's under the age of 50. Mark Levin who? Nobody watches Ben Shapiro anymore. People are watching Candace Owens.
Yeah.
My clips are going viral. I have millions of followers. I have millions of views because people agree with me. You can call me a Nazi. You better be careful. Because if I'm a Nazi, then there's millions of young people that are following a fucking Nazi. So you better be careful about those words. You're saying I'm a Nazi, I'm a monster. There's a million monsters then. There's a million Nazis out there then. Because they love my show and they agree with me way more than they agree with you. And they're pissed off. And they'll follow me into battle. So you better be real careful. You're barking up the wrong tree with that. Either you're wrong and I'm not a Nazi and millions of people are, or maybe that just doesn't even mean anything at all. Forget even that. Millions of people don't give a shit anymore. You can call us a Nazi. We don't care about Nazis. We don't care about the Holocaust. We don't care about Hitler. We don't care about any of that. Millions of people are rising up and we're saying, this is our red line. We are drawing a line in the sand right now. It's America first or Israel first. If the GOP keeps going down the path of Israel first, if it doesn't turn around and reverse course, we're done. Fuck you. We're never voting again. Look at what happened. All these people voted for Trump and look how he betrayed them. Donald Trump won the election 1 year ago, promising a golden age. He's more unpopular than ever. Why do you think that is?
He sucks.
And I'm happy to see him lose. Democrats want to destroy us. Republicans do nothing for us. We're out. This is the line in the sand. You're either America first and you're with the Americans, or you're Israel first and you're with these lunatics. Kevin Roberts, you're my enemy. Okay? Kevin Roberts says, let's go win. He said, I'm going to talk to the young people. Let me tell you something, Kevin Roberts. Nobody will ever follow you because you don't inspire. Your weakness, your lassitude, your cowardice doesn't inspire anybody, least of all young men. Least of all young men that have had everything taken from them. This bald loser gets up and says, I need to be better. I should have chose my words more carefully. Choose your words more carefully. Motherfucker, we're at war right now. Do you understand the stakes here? We have 50 million foreign born in this country, 50 million illegals, 50 million more foreign born that are legal. We're at war. Look at what's happening. Look what happened to Irina Zarutska. She got stabbed in the neck with a knife. Look what happened to Austin Metcalf. Got stabbed in the neck with a knife. Look what's happening in all of our major cities in public transit. Look what's happening with the carjackings. Look what happened to Charlie Kirk in that Catholic church in Minnesota. And you're getting up there and apologizing about your word choice, anti-Semitic canards? You are weak. You are a coward. You caved. You caved to this small psycho minority that, in their own words, puts a foreign country ahead of ours. They're not even Christian. You think you're going to talk to the youth of America? Good luck with that. It's never going to happen because you inspire nobody. You stand for nothing. You live on your knees and you crawl on your belly and you eat their shit. And that's why you're losing them. That's why I'm winning. Because I'm not setting plays. I'm not living on my knees to fight another day. I'm fighting. I'm speaking up. Whatever the consequences are, somebody has to. Somebody needs to tell Mark Levin he can take his fat ass and go to Israel. Somebody needs to stand up and say Randy Fine is disgusting, morally reprehensible. Damn him. Randy Fine says it's funny that children are starving in Gaza. He's smug about it. He thinks he's in any position to judge anybody, make moral judgments. You are repugnant. Randy Fine, you are repugnant. You are disgusting. You will burn in hell. And everyone agrees with me on this. Don't make them choose between me and you.
100%.
And the same goes for Mark Levin. And we don't want you in our country anymore. He says, I'm the only member of Congress that will wear a little hat. Well, fortunately for you, there's a whole country that does that. You should go there. We don't want you here. We're sick of you. We don't want to hear your big fat mouth one more second. We don't want to be bullied by you. We don't want to be told about Israel. Mark Levin says, I don't want to hear any more about the genocide. We don't want to hear any more about Israel. We don't want to hear any more about your ancestors in the Holocaust. We don't want to hear about it. We don't care. We're in the middle of a Holocaust.
No one gives a fuck.
Do you know what's happening in Europe and the United States? The white population is being genocided. Where there used to be pillars and cathedrals, where there used to be order, where there used to be science and reason, now there is chaos and death and crime and superstition. And that is because all of these countries were white, were Christian, and now they're not. You want to talk about a Holocaust? We're in the middle of a Holocaust. We're in the middle of our Holocaust. What's going to happen in 100 years when our great-grandchildren wake up and they're 10% of the population in a minority, and it's like South Africa? What's going to happen in Canada, in the United States, in the United Kingdom, when in the year 2100, white children will wake up in their beds and they will be subjected to land reappropriation like they're doing in South Africa right now, like they did in Zimbabwe a generation ago? We're in the middle of our Holocaust. You want to talk about yours? We don't care. And by the way, about Hitler, let's talk a little bit about Hitler. Hitler has been used as a buzzword for 80 years to prevent anybody from talking about any of this. Whenever anybody says that Jewish people have too much influence in the Western world, they say Hitler. Whenever somebody says it's maybe a bad idea for America to become majority non-white, people say Hitler. Whenever anybody says we need a strong executive that can actually do things, that can actually send people back over the border, they say Hitler. So we're defanging that. That has no power over us. Hitler, Nazi, these are particular words from a particular time that hold no weight over us. That holds no weight over me. I'll call them cool. I'll say the uniforms look cool. I'll say whatever I want about it. That's not my moral language. I don't care about any of that. We want the fathers back in the home. We want God back in society. We want the nation to be strong. And yes, by the way, we want the country to be majority white. And you can say Hitler until you're blue in the face. I still want those things. I don't care. Nobody cares. So Kevin Roberts says, let's go win. Family, free enterprise, let's go win. It's not going to cut it. What are they arguing for on the Democratic side? We're going to make the buses free. We're going to make the groceries cheaper. We're going to make housing affordable. What are they saying on the right? Free enterprise, family, and anti-Semitism. And another thing, does anybody really believe that what we need is more political correctness? This is exactly the kind of consultant, marketing, politically correct language that was overthrown in 2016. I weep for what happens after Donald Trump leaves the stage. And obviously, I didn't vote for Trump. I don't agree with a lot of what Trump has become. But one of the net positives of his victory in 2016 is that we don't have to talk like that anymore. Why are we still playing these games? This president of Heritage gets up and says, I should have chosen my words more carefully. I didn't know that was an anti-Semitic trope. He said, Yoram Hazony is flying to D.C. to help me be a better person. Who is buying into this nonsense? Nobody. This is meant to placate the loudest, most disgusting, most vitriolic, most disloyal section of the right-wing coalition, which is this Jewish lobby. Everybody knows that's who it's for. And it has become a deal breaker. It has become a liability. The America First Party is the party that needs to win. We're not voting for Republicans anymore. I'm just done. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a Republican. I'm America first. I almost think about starting my own party if it wasn't so logistically difficult and so expensive. It's designed that way. Unless and until the Republican Party becomes the party of America first, literally forget anything else. Throw out the handbook on everything else. Throw out the handbook on free enterprise and all that other nonsense. You need 2 words to win: America first for all.